I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, when I see like this, I realize like one day I'm gonna get older, and that's what keep me like at least trying to stay active at the bare minimum, just going to go walk, bro. Cause there's no way, bro, I'm gonna be this guy unlocking video game booty meat mods.
Yo, Lulu.
Excuse me, bitch, I was running on my back. Money on my shoulder, put designer on my ass. This shit too nice, but it's fucking up my head. So I be getting high, but I ain't popping fuckers in.
Gonna tap in to this one, you already know. This one's gonna be my guilty pleasure visual venture. So make sure you leave a like for the algorithm, and Uncle Lou. Make sure you share the video with somebody next to you and hit that subscription with that notification muscle, because we on the way to 10K at 2025. And you already know how this one gonna ride. So, niecey, nephew, it's your Uncle Lou.
This definitely takes the cake.
Potato, good morning.
This definitely takes the cake as probably the most violent thing I've played.
I think it is crazy for anyone to make a game where students are taught to beat their teachers up.
We are determined to stop a situation in which video games and violent content are being peddled to our children.
Games are supposed to be fun, but some games are so disturbing that certain countries made them illegal. Today, we're looking at video games banned for being too controversial. You might have some of them right now, but in other parts of the world, it's a crime to play or even own these games.
Whoa.
So my goal this year is to give you guys double the amount of videos without sacrificing quality, and to do that, we gotta keep growing. So 70% of you guys aren't subscribed, and it would mean the world to me if you did, and I promise to do my
come kick my door in because I'm playing GTA 4.
very best for you. Hydrate yourselves and enjoy. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome.
Thank you,
Bully.
brother.
In 2005, Rockstar Games announced a new game. It was called Bully, and just the name made people freak out.
They coming out with a game where children can beat their teachers up. Children can beat their classmates up.
These are things that are depicted in the game.
In the game, right.
The game wasn't even out yet, but people
If you would have told a kid that back then,
assumed that a game called Bully would make bullying seem cool, and that might increase violence in schools. As the complaints increased, Rockstar defended their game. They said it wasn't about being a bully, it was about fighting them. In the game, players controlled a character named Jimmy Hopkins. Jimmy was a student at Bulworth Academy, but Jimmy wasn't a bully. He protected weaker kids from bullies. That explanation calmed things down in the US, but in places like the UK and Australia, people still wanted it banned. So the creators of the game decided to change something. They renamed the game in certain countries. The new title was Canis Canem Edit. That means dog eat dog in Latin. But apart from the name change, everything else in the game stayed the same. In 2006, Bully was finally released. And when people actually played it, it wasn't nearly as dangerous as they expected. It was given a teen rating in the US and a 15 rating in the UK. But that didn't end the drama. Some powerful people still wanted this game gone. Jack Thompson was a lawyer famous for fighting against violent video games, and Bully was next on his list. He didn't care that the game was about stopping bullies.
Good morning, everybody. Or afternoon. Just now getting in the chat. BK, Nani, Jesse, Potato, Stephanie. We just started. Literally just started. Less than probably not even 5 minutes, bro. Like, I just turned this on. You can beat up other students and teachers in real life too, LOL. But just like in the game, you can and will get in trouble. I heard good things about it and how it's kind of underrated due to controversy around it. You live early with it. Yeah, Leggy, I'm trying to get everybody in. I'm trying to get a lot of people in. Sunday afternoon. And you know, it's some basketball going on. I'm trying to catch that Lakers game. I want to see if they're going to go down 3-1. You know what I'm saying? So I want to catch that game. So it's great to see you guys this afternoon. We're going to be locked in. Oh, that's fire. Your grandson said that I was on. That's fire. That's fire. We got the whole gang in here. Y'all coming in by the boatload right now. But in case any of you guys missed it, like I said, bro, July, I'm going to be going crazy. The month of July. I'm trying to go live every single day in July. I'm not missing a day. We're going to do long streams, IRL streams, all in July. Yeah, you know, I got a fresh new wax. You know what I'm saying? I had to show it off. I had the fresh new wax. You know what I'm saying?
Believed it was way too violent for kids. So Thompson took Rockstar Games to court. He wanted Bully banned forever, off the shelves and out of homes. Unfortunately, things didn't go his way. Before making a final ruling, the judge did something unexpected. He played the game himself after seeing what Bully was.
Listen, Potato, you might be onto something. A barbecue stream on the 4th? Oh, he might get on the grill.
Bully liked to rule that there was no reason to ban it. This meant gamers in the US could keep playing Bully, but in Brazil, it was a different story. In 2008, the Brazilian government started cracking down on violent video games. Bully was one of their main targets. A Brazilian court declared the game was too violent for young children and teenagers. The judge added, the aggravating factor is that everything in the game takes place inside a school. Stores in Brazil were given 30 days to pull it off the shelves. Anyone caught selling or even owning the game would have to pay a fine. Brazilian gamers smuggled pirated copies into the country, but the ban stayed in place for almost 10 years. It wasn't until 2016 that the ban was finally lifted. For the next game on our list, the controversy was because of one little girl, Miam. If you've ever played a horror game, you're used to jump scares and creepy music. But Miam was scary in a different way. Players said the game was watching them, studying them like a stalker. Miam was released in 2017. It was created by a developer from Saudi Arabia. It starts out like a typical horror game. You meet a pale girl with ghostly white hair standing alone in the dark. Her name is Miam. She says she's lost and asks you to help her find her way home. At first, she asks for directions. Then she starts asking you personal questions like, where do you live? What's your Facebook account? Those personal questions in the game made players uneasy. They began to suspect that Miam was trying to trick them into giving away personal information, and that suspicion quickly turned into a rumor. Soon, police in the UAE caught wind of it. They issued a warning telling the public not to play Miam, just in case the game was trying to steal their data. The game's creator quickly denied the rumors. He said the personal questions were just meant to scare players. There was no ulterior motive to come
I ain't playing this shit. You want my Facebook? Come on, Granny, knock it off.
Everyone down. He even let tech experts look into the game's code. They found nothing suspicious. But even if Miam wasn't stealing data, people still didn't like it. Many players claimed the game was too sinister. It received a lot of negative reviews on game stores.
It's inappropriate and sick of someone to make such a game that can damage people's minds and lives.
As more people complained, the hashtag #BanMiam game trended across the Middle East. And in 2018, the UAE officially banned Miam. They claimed the game was damaging to children's health. You've definitely heard of this next game, but you probably don't realize that it has a dark past. GTA San Andreas.
What?
In 2002, Rockstar Games started.
Nah, where? What happened? That's another thing too. I don't know if the US is gonna be on this list, because what games have the US banned? What games have they banned? They said video games banned for being too controversial. The US don't care.
Started creating GTA San Andreas. The GTA series was already a hit, mainly because of the crime, chaos, and violence. But Sam Houser, the co-founder of Rockstar Games, wanted to push the limits. With GTA San Andreas, he didn't just want violence. He wanted to add bedroom scenes. So the developers created a part of the game where players could engage in intimate acts with in-game characters.
And it was more than a simple cutscene. No, it was a fully playable
I never heard a post.
The minigame was pretty simple. First, your in-game girlfriend would invite you in for coffee.
You want to have some coffee?
If you said yes, you entered a room where you controlled all the action, if you get what I mean. But there was just one problem. Because the minigame contained adult content, GTA San Andreas would get an adults-only rating. Adults-only games can only be sold to adults. That meant Rockstar could lose millions of dollars in sales because kids wouldn't be able to buy it. The company didn't want to lose money, so at the last minute they decided to remove the minigame. However, GTA San Andreas was almost done, so removing it was complicated. That's when they came up with a really bad idea. Instead of fully deleting the intimate bedroom scene, they buried it deep inside the game's code. They assumed no one would discover it. They were wrong. In October 2004, GTA San Andreas launched, and within a month, a gamer named Patrick W discovered the hidden minigame. And within a month,
he didn't look like he wasn't looking for it. He looked like he was looking for this fucking mini game. He looked like he a freak like that. Hot coffee, hit it from the front, the back. That's crazy. Those were real options, bruh. Bro, I played San Andreas. I never unlocked that, or I never went looking for that.
a gamer named Patrick W discovered the hidden minigame. But Patrick W wasn't just a regular gamer, he was also a modder. He started messing with the game's code and figured out how to unlock the hidden minigame. From there, he developed the Hot Coffee mod. With this mod, anyone playing GTA San Andreas on a PC could access the explicit bedroom content. In June 2005, Patrick uploaded the Hot Coffee mod to GTAgarage.com. It was downloaded over 1 million times within 4 weeks. Now, players all over the world had access to an explicit minigame with a bedroom scene, and they loved it. Game chat rooms were buzzing with excitement, but soon people started to realize what this actually meant, and it wasn't good. When GTA San Andreas was first released, it was rated mature. That meant only kids 17 and older were allowed to buy it. But now, the Hot Coffee mod unlocked bedroom scenes, making the game inappropriate for anyone under 18. The problem was, thousands of kids already bought it. In other words, an adult game was in the hands of children. Parents and politicians were furious.
We are determined to stop a situation in which video games and violent content are being peddled to our children.
Parents didn't just want the explicit minigame removed, they wanted GTA San Andreas banned. During the controversy, Rockstar released a statement. They acted like they didn't create the adult minigame. Instead, they blamed the modders for adding it. Other gamers turned against Patrick W. They accused him of ruining San Andreas for adding it. Other gamers...
Please, never let yourself go. Like, I'm not even serious. Like, if you gotta walk, if you gotta go outside, walk for 30 minutes a day, go do that. Like, I'm so serious. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, when I see shit like this, I realize, like, one day I'm gonna get older, and that's what keep me, like, at least trying to stay active at the bare minimum, just going to go walk, bro. Because there's no way, bro, I'm gonna be this guy unlocking video game booty meat mods. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that.
Turned against Patrick W.
That's Homer
They accused
Simpson.
him
Yeah,
of
we was
ruining
looking for the
San Andreas'
jetpack,
reputation. As people ranted in the gaming forums, one player made a key point. They can't blame Patrick W for this mod because he didn't make it. He just enabled it. And that's when the Entertainment Software Rating Board launched an investigation. They had one big question. Was this adult minigame really modded in by players, or had Rockstar hidden it all along? It didn't take long to figure it out.
That this content wasn't created by the modding community. It was there all along, and Rockstar must have known this.
Rockstar was caught red-handed. Once the truth came out, things went downhill for Rockstar Games.
That the Federal Trade Commission should investigate the publication of the video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas to determine if the publisher intentionally deceived the Entertainment Software Ratings Board to avoid an adults-only rating.
Before Rockstar could respond, the ratings board made a decision. They changed San Andreas' rating from mature to adults only. It was the first GTA game to get an adults-only rating, and that had serious consequences.
There were many retailers across the US just pulling San Andreas altogether while it has an adults-only rating.
Since it was now an adult game, hundreds of stores in the US pulled it from their shelves. The game was also banned in Australia and many Asian countries. There was only one way Rockstar could fix this mess. They recalled all copies of GTA San Andreas. Then they removed the explicit minigame and released a version that couldn't run the Hot Coffee mod. That lifted the ban in Australia, but the damage was...
Bro, how long? Y'all known each other since high school, right, BK and Nani? That's crazy. That is kind of crazy. That's fire.
Copies of GTA San Andreas. Then they removed the explicit minigame and released a version that couldn't run the Hot Coffee mod. That lifted the ban in Australia, but the damage was done. The scandal and recall cost Rockstar millions of dollars in sales. And even after the release, San Andreas remained banned in several Asian countries. This next game was accused of embarrassing an entire country. Battlefield 4. In the early 2010s, Battlefield was one of the best first-person shooter games around. It was actually one of my favorite games back then. Battlefield 1, 2, and
I see you, Nani. I see you, Nani. Okay.
3 were insanely popular. So when Battlefield 4 was announced, fans expected another great game. And that's exactly what they got. Battlefield 4 launched in October 2013, and it was an instant hit. But just 2 months later, that game sparked an international crisis. In December 2013, EA released the first DLC for Battlefield 4. They called it China Rising. China Rising had cool maps, weapons, and missions. But the story was extremely controversial. In the game, a Chinese admiral tries to overthrow the government. To stop him, the US military has to swoop in and save the day. China's government did not like this story. In fact, they hated it. Officials called the game a national security threat. They said it made China look bad in the eyes of the world. Chinese news reports labeled it a new form of cultural penetration and aggression. Everyone thought China would just ban the DLC, but the government had a much bigger plan. China banned the entire game.
And Battlefield 4 just can't seem to catch a break. In addition to connectivity issues over the weekend, the game has also been banned in China for endangering Chinese national security.
China ordered stores in the country to remove every copy of Battlefield 4. Chinese websites weren't even allowed to mention the game. It was the first time China banned a game in more than 8 years. Some Chinese players tried to avoid the ban by smuggling the game in from other countries, but the government blocked those moves. They made it impossible to find the game anywhere in China. Battlefield 4 was popular all over the world, but in China, it was like it never existed. Gamers love it when a game tries something new, but in this next story, being different got this game banned. Carmageddon. Carmageddon came out in the late 90s, but it wasn't your usual racing game. Instead of punishing reckless driving, the game rewarded it. Players were encouraged to smash cars, run over pedestrians, and destroy everything in sight. The more chaos they caused on the road, the more points they got. Gamers thought Carmageddon was awesome, but for governments around the world, it was a serious problem. They felt the game encouraged reckless driving, and that could lead to real-life danger on the roads. To stop that from happening, some countries took drastic measures. Several countries, including Brazil and Argentina, banned Carmageddon completely. But in the UK, it turned into a messy back and forth. Every game sold in the UK had to be approved by the British Board of Film Classification, or BBFC. But when the BBFC saw Carmageddon, they refused to give it a rating until the violent parts were removed. Without the rating, the game couldn't be sold in the UK. Carmageddon creators fought back. They said the violence was no worse than what you'd see in Tom and Jerry, but the BBFC didn't budge. Carmageddon needed to be less gory, or it'd never be sold in the UK. Eventually, the game developers gave in. They made a new version where pedestrians were replaced with zombies, and instead of red blood, they had green goo. That way, it wouldn't look like it was encouraging real-life violence. The authorities were satisfied and allowed the game to be released in the UK. But what happened next made the BBFC look like fools. Not long after the censored version was released, something strange showed up online. It was a patch for the game, and it brought everything back. Zombies were swapped out for humans again. Green goo turned into red blood. It turns out
that's a team I can't talk about right there, okay? I know Brazil got them, but that's a team I will not talk about.
The patch was created by one of the original developers who worked on Carmageddon. Even worse, the game's publishers knew about it, but they didn't lift a finger to stop it. When the BBFC found out, they were furious. They felt tricked. First, the publishers got the rating by censoring the game. Then, they secretly brought back the violent version with a hidden patch. The BBFC took the game to court. For 10 months, they battled it out in court. But in the end, the BBFC lost. The BBFC's decision to ban the game was overturned, and the original Carmageddon, full of blood and gore, was released in the UK. Most games get banned because of what's in them, but this next game got in trouble because of what the players were doing.
Postal.
Roblox.
Roblox?
I know we all know what Roblox is, but what you probably didn't know was that it was banned in an entire country. Roblox is one of the biggest online gaming platforms in the world, but behind all the fun and games, there's a dark side. Roblox is filled with young kids, but it also has a huge number of adult players. And when you put those two groups together, bad things can happen. Roblox has become a hunting ground for preds. Every year, there are new reports of this happening.
Parents, beware. Monsters are among us. Police said the 3-year-old girl met Graham on Roblox.
Despite all the stories, it doesn't look like Roblox is doing enough to stop it. Roblox has a history of ignoring problems that don't directly affect their profits. It's almost like all they care about is money. Back in 2022, I said something that can still apply today. I mean, to me, it's pretty clear that Roblox doesn't see its users as people. To them, we're just walking money bags waiting to be empty. At the time, I was talking specifically about Roblox's payment system, but in a way, it applies to the platform as a whole. It seems that Roblox Roblox's top priority isn't safety, it's making money. They focus on getting more users and growing their business. Everything else, including protecting young users, comes second. Since Roblox isn't doing enough, some countries decided to act. One of them was Turkey. Really? On August 7th, 2024, Turkey officially banned Roblox. They released a statement saying they did it to ensure the protection of Turkish children. At first, Turkey banning Roblox didn't seem like a big deal. That was until people realized Turkey had the 5th largest Roblox player base in the world. Roblox didn't want to lose millions of users, so they tried to negotiate with Turkish officials to lift the ban, but the government wouldn't budge. Turkey refused to let Roblox back in. After that, other countries started thinking about banning Roblox too. This means that if Roblox doesn't take safety more seriously, more bans could be on the way. Now. This next game was banned because—
Wait, damn! You can do all this in Roblox?
After that, other countries started thinking about—
Since when? Bro, when I first touched Roblox, it wasn't even close to this.
Banning Roblox too. This means that if Roblox doesn't take safety more seriously, more bans could be on the way. This next game was banned because people feared it could turn players into substance addicts. Fallout 3. Open world games promise freedom. You can go anywhere, do anything, and shape the story how you want. But this game took that idea to the extreme. Wow. In Fallout 3, players can use different substances to heal or get stronger. One of those substances was morphine, but there was a big problem. Morphine is a real substance. It's so addictive that it's illegal to have it without a prescription. This meant anyone playing Fallout 3 was introduced to this real-world illegal substance. Even worse, in-game characters could get addicted to morphine just like what happens in real life. When Fallout 3 reached Australia, the rating board said the game promoted drug use, so they banned it. This was a disaster for the game developers. Australia was a huge market and losing it could cost them millions. To get the game released, they changed morphine to Med-X. The new name removed the real-world connection and the ban was lifted. But Australia wasn't the only country that had a problem with Fallout 3. When German authorities saw the game's brutal combat scenes, they refused to approve it because it was way too violent. The game's developers were forced to remove most of the graphic content, and when they did, Fallout 3 was released in Germany. But Fallout's problems weren't over. Japan also had an issue with the game. In one mission, players could set off a nuclear bomb. Unfortunately, Japan has a tragic history with nuclear attacks, so this part of the game was deeply offensive to them. To avoid getting banned, the developers removed the bombing mission from the Japanese version. But even after all that, Fallout wasn't done causing trouble, and this time there was no fixing it. In the game, players run into two-headed mutant cows called Brahmin, but in India, this caused outrage. Brahmin is a Hindu word. Furthermore, cows are sacred in Hinduism. Many Indians felt the game was being disrespectful, but unlike other countries like Australia or Germany, India didn't ask for changes. They just banned Fallout 3, and to this day, it's still banned in India. When this next game got banned, no one was surprised. It was just too extreme. Manhunt 1 and 2. Manhunt was released in 2003, and it's still one of the most controversial games ever. In the game, you play as James Earl Cash. Cash is a death row inmate about to be executed by lethal injection, but right before it happens, he wakes up. He realizes he was just sedated. Then a mysterious voice starts speaking to Cash. The voice introduces himself as the director. He tells Cash there's one way out, one last shot at freedom, but only if Cash follows his instructions.
Do exactly as I say, and this will be over before the night is out.
The problem is that the director's instructions are all about ending lives. Cash is told to hunt down enemies and take them out using whatever he can find. Glass shards, baseball bats, plastic bags, anything becomes a weapon. What made Manhunt even worse was how real it all felt. The people Cash hunted in the game showed fear and desperation. And then came the twist. Cash found out he was actually starring in a snuff film. All his brutal acts were being filmed by the director.
You're doing fine, Cash, just fine. We're getting some great material here.
That sounds
the game
like
also had kidnapping, substances, and so many more illegal acts.
Messed up. I know that. Oh, Titania, what's up? What's up? But I know it sounds messed up, but like that game, it sounds very well structured. Like it sounds like just hearing what it has in it. Yeah, it's violent in nature, but it sounds like a very good story game. Like the idea of it.
The game also had kidnapping, substances, and so many more illegal acts I can't even tell you guys. All in all, Manhunt was deeply disturbing and people were furious. The game was even called a murder simulator. In the US, parents and politicians demanded an immediate ban. They were scared the game might inspire real-life aggression, especially among young people. But somehow, Manhunt slipped through. It was never banned in the US, but other countries weren't as forgiving. New Zealand, Malaysia, South Korea, and Saudi Arabia all banned Manhunt as soon as it was released. But that was nothing compared to what happened in the UK. In July 2004, a boy took the life of his close friend. Almost instantly, tabloids in the UK jumped on the story. They reported that the culprit was obsessed with Manhunt, suggesting the game inspired the crime. But when police investigated, they found out the culprit didn't even own the game. But it was too late. Manhunt was now tied to a real-life tragedy. Its reputation got even worse, and more countries, including Australia and Germany, banned the game too. But after all this bad press, Rockstar Games did something no one saw coming. They made a sequel to Manhunt. In 2007, Rockstar Games released Manhunt 2, and somehow it was even more disturbing than the first.
This definitely takes the cake as probably the most violent thing I've played.
Great.
The sequel introduced a new feature called Levels of Execution. The game encouraged players to eliminate their targets in brutal ways to get more points, and people were not okay with that. Soon, they were talking in brutal ways to get more points, and people...
Bruh, ain't nobody getting like this over this fucking video game. I'm just keeping it a stack with you. Hey, I fought with you, Visual Adventure hard, but damn. Nobody's sitting there like this over
We're not okay with that. Soon, they were talking about the game
Ain't nobody
in
sitting like that over there.
The new video is called Manhunt 2, and at the state capitol, it's creating ripples over the rating system for these games.
In the US, Manhunt 2 was rated adults only. Major stores refused to sell it. Consoles like PlayStation and Nintendo blocked it.
Tonight, a violent video game pulled from store shelves.
Manhunt 2 has been the target of criticism since its release a week ago. Now Target is doing something about it.
To save the game, Rockstar blurred some of the violent scenes and cut out the worst parts. That version got a mature rating in the US and could finally be sold. But even the toned-down version was still too much. Manhunt 2 got banned in Germany, Malaysia, Australia, and South Korea, among others. The game was just too intense. If there's one thing these bans prove, it's that games are powerful. They can shape how people think, feel, and act. And I know I sound like an old person, but at the end of the day, we have to be more careful about what we play, because games influence us more than we realize. Visual Venture.
Always a great video when you're watching Visual Venture. W channel, W video, W video games. I see you guys. Y'all definitely hopped in early.